This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Dustin Hoffman.
Well, good day, everyone, and welcome to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Dustin Huffman. Today is Thursday, March the 23rd, 2023. We're so glad you could come with us today. Coming up in today's show, I talk with Iowa Agriculture Secretary Mike Naig about some recent trade trips going over the Pacific, and we also will have a check of your ag weather outlook. But first, let's run down those markets. It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net. Well, we're at the end of another trading day, and we're talking with Tyler Schau of agmarket.net. Tyler, what did we see on this Thursday?
It was another wild and wacky day in the markets. Got some really good news early this morning. A very, very large weekly sales report on corn, over 3 million metric ton. It's like 122 million bushels. And just to give you some perspective on how big of a weekly sale that is, it'd take about 15 to 16 weeks of sales that high to reach our yearly export estimate from the USDA. So I'm not telling anyone that that's going to continue that pace. I doubt that we stay on that type of pace. It's just a very, very large weekly number that we got from the USDA. It was followed on the heels by another flash sale of 130-some thousand metric ton to China again on corn. You would have thought that would have been positive. It started off the day as positive. May corn traded up to $6.44, which was at the time up about 12 cents. And then the bottom fell out of the bean market and pulled everything with it. And I think you've got to kind of take a look at what happened to corn and really wheat over the last several months as these funds just moved out of their long positions and piled into the short positions. Are the expectations managed money's doing the same in beans right now. They had a very large long position in soybeans, and most likely they're unwinding that long position as we speak.
So, I mean, is that what the primary contribution is to the soybean market, or what is making soybeans really just kind of take it on the chin the last couple of days and weeks?
The managed money bailing on those positions, and there's been a lot of people talking about that for a long time. That managed money was long a lot of beans. They were long a lot of bean meal. You're seeing that bean meal spread. Just that whole soybean complex kind of unwind now. That's part of it. There are some rumors out there that there could be a couple cargoes of soybeans now coming into the U.S. from Brazil. That gets the market a little bit nervous when we start importing beans before we're really even out. And basically it's a function of Brazilian beans are cheap enough now that it's mostly your poultry producers on the East Coast. It's cheaper for them to ship in beans from Brazil than it is to buy them from the interior of the U.S. and ship them out there via rail. So, that's telling the market maybe our beans in the U.S. are overpriced from a world standpoint. But we still got to manage that supply and demand. And right now, we're looking at tight carryout stocks on soybeans.
Moving over to the livestock side of things, Tyler, what did we see there with cattle and hogs?
Another kind of a mixed day again. Live cattle were down anywhere from 10 to 30 cents a hundredweight across the board. Really not a lot of news coming out of the cattle space. I still would argue that cash prices are higher than what your April board is. There's a premium of cash to the board, so that's going to have to reconcile itself out. Sticking with the same thing I've been saying for the last several months. Supply is tight and only going to get tighter. So it didn't really surprise me that we saw a little bit of a pullback in fats and feeders over the last few weeks. Don't expect it to stick around a long time. Hogs, kind of a mixed day again. You got a few contracts that are down a little bit, a few that are up a little bit. You've kind of got this weird scenario in hogs where the cash price is well below the future. So just the opposite of what we got going on in fat cattle. and your back month hogs have got a huge premium to the cash. And so something's got to give. Cash prices have got to come up in the hog market, or the futures are going to have to continue their downslide to even things out, because cash market's always going to trump the futures at some point. Just a matter of how long it takes for that to happen.
Yeah, because I was remembering back in my days raising hogs, and it doesn't matter if the price is good 3 months from now. You got a hog ready today that's got to go. You're not getting 3 months down the road prices, and so that can be a big hit on the chin for those farmers.
Yeah, hogs and cattle don't store quite as well as corn and beans.
Not generally. Well, Tyler, a lot of great information as always. If folks want to talk about strategies with agmarket.net, what's the best way for them to get in touch?
Look us up on our website, agmarket.net. If you want to call me direct, number 701-987-6009.
All right, Tyler, thanks so much for the insight. We'll talk to you again next week.
You bet. Have a good day, guys.
That again was Tyler Schau of agmarket.net. Let's run down the closing numbers, courtesy of the folks at Bar Chart. May corn down 1 3/4 at 630, 1 3/4. December new crop down 2 1/4 at 552 1/4. May soybeans down 29 at 14.19 1/2. November down 14 1/2 at 12.58 even. Soy meal down $13.30 at 438.30 per ton. Soy oil down $2.47 at 52.17. Chicago wheat down 3/4 at 6.74 even. Minneapolis up 8 1/4. That was at 8.42 even. Kansas wheat up 7 1/4 at 8.06 1/2. July oats down a penny at 3.56 1/4. April live cattle down 15 cents at 162.15. April feeders up 62 cents at 195 even. Lean hogs down 32 cents at 75.75. Pork cutouts down 25 cents at 82.17. And that's been our market recap. We're going to take a short break and hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. And when we come back, I talk with Iowa Ag Secretary Mike Naig about trade trips. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Welcome back to AMPM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Dustin Huffman. Well, recently, Iowa Ag Secretary Mike Naig has gone overseas and had trade missions in Japan and South Korea. And now he's getting ready to go back across the ocean to the Philippines and Vietnam. He talks with me about the importance of getting Iowa's products out in front of our consumers and talking about the importance of being able to bring quality and reliability to the marketplace. All right, so moving on to other topics. You recently were overseas to Japan and South Korea talking to some of our purchasing partners over there. Talk about some of that trip and how that went.
Had a great trip to Japan and South Korea just a few weeks ago now. These are big markets for us. It was the first time that we were back into those markets, physically able to travel there since the fall of 2019. So the first time post-COVID, so they were starting to open up. You can actually travel there, and it was good. We had tried to do and did some virtual missions, if you will, in the last couple of years, but there's nothing that replaces getting in front of your customers, sitting down with leadership. We had high-level meetings with the Japanese government on ethanol and sustainable aviation fuel. So those, I think we did some good there, and in terms of just showing up, thanking people for their business, but also then getting a sense of what's happening in this marketplace. Both South Korea and Japan, while they may have declining population, certainly population growth is slowing there. Actually, they're declining. The markets are growing, and U.S. market share is growing and has potential to grow. So again, we're talking lots of pork, lots of beef, corn and soybean, and ethanol into those markets.
Now, when you talk to those customers, obviously we see a growing middle class, like you say, a declining influx of population. Are they looking for different types of products now that you know of, or are looking for different amounts? I mean, what kind of things can you speak to on that?
It's been interesting that I took home from the two countries that we visited, and then we're also leaving for Vietnam and Philippines later this week. But we've also been receiving trade delegations into Iowa that, no surprise, really, because of what I mentioned, the disruption in the supply chain, the disruption in the global marketplace, the fact that agriculture is global, the fact that you've got a Russian invasion of Ukraine, which has absolutely impacted. You've got African swine fever and some disease outbreaks happening around the world. What it's bringing home to, I think, to buyers is that there's a premium that can be applied to consistent, reliable suppliers. And that's a hallmark of U.S. agriculture, consistent, quality, safe food. And so I think you've got people really looking at that reliability piece in addition to then what are the types of cuts or products that they are desirable. But it's almost like this, can I trust my partners? Should we do more business with friends? Those types of things I think are really dominating trade conversations right now. And they should, and that's good for U.S. agriculture.
And you mentioned the chance to go to the Philippines and Vietnam. Now talk about that trip and what you're expecting to hear there.
You know, when you look at Japan and South Korea, they're big markets. You know, you're talking Canada, Mexico, China, Japan, South Korea being in that very top level of exports for us. But Vietnam and Philippines are strong markets, and they've got a lot of potential, both in terms of their U.S. market share within countries, but also as gateways to other countries within Southeast Asia. And so I'm very interested, never been to either of these countries. I'm excited to learn about those marketplaces. We'll get a briefing in country from the embassy. We will be able to meet with U.S. Grains Council, U.S. Meat Export Federation, soybean export, the people on the ground really doing this day-to-day work, learning about this market and what we can potentially do to grow our market share there. But both are strong markets for us, but there's a tremendous amount of potential.
That again was Iowa Agriculture Secretary Mike Naig. Let's go ahead and run down that ag weather outlook. Well, we started off with some ice on the windshields and some wet roads here in Des Moines. And of course, check local listings to see what you had today. But definitely a wintry mix that kind of just fell off and on throughout the day in cloudy skies. Now we're going to see those clouds start to recede overnight, but how will it look tomorrow? Well, let's see what the National Weather Service has in store for the next 24 hours. Well, we woke up to some wet ground and ice on the windshields this morning in Des Moines, and we saw mostly cloudy skies and that mixture of wintry precipitation, a little rain and snow here and there. The temps across the state were mostly in the upper 30s to the upper 40s. Now tonight we're going to see a few breaks in those clouds as they start to dissipate. We'll see lows anywhere from the mid-20s to around 30. And then tomorrow going to warm up nicely in some areas. Partly cloudy to mostly sunny across much of the state. There might be a chance of a few isolated showers. Expect highs anywhere in the mid-40s to the low 50s. Taking a look at the affiliate weather map, Cherokee looking for mostly sunny skies tomorrow and 45. Shenandoah mostly sunny, a slight chance of rain and 53. Des Moines looks to be sunny and 51. Waterloo sunny, 48. Albia looks to be partly sunny, chance of showers and 50. Clinton much of the same. Look for partly sunny skies, chance of showers. For more detailed forecasts in your area, tune to your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliate. And that's been our Ag Weather Outlook. With that, we're at the end of today's show. Don't forget to check out all of our content online at iowaagnet.com. Don't forget you can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, and on our YouTube channel. While you're there, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you're notified anytime we put up a video project. And that's where you can also find past episodes of AMPM. From the IARN studios in Des Moines, I'm Dustin Huffman. For Riley Smith and Mark Magnuson, we thank you for joining us. This has been Ag Matters PM.